Hello students. Today in our biology session we are going to discuss different types of viral diseases. So for that first we have to know little bit of virus. A virus is a very small microorganism that can be seen only with electron microscope. Only inside the living cells, virus is active, and outside the cell or living cell, the virus is metabolically inert or inactive. When it enters into a host cell, new viruses are produced and burst out of the host cell, killing the cell and going on to infect other cells. By that, virus can cause so many diseases, not only in humans but also in plants and different kinds of animals. A virus that attacks bacteria known as bacteriophage or phage virus. So first viral disease that we will discuss, that is common cold. The causative agent of common cold is rhinovirus. That's why the common cold is also known as rhinitis. What are the cold symptoms? Sore throat, headache, cough, runny nose, also sometimes sneezing, and slight temperature. Now, what are the modes of transmission? Airborne droplets generated by sneezing and coughing. Already last day during bacterial disease, I have told that thing, that whenever infected person is going to sneeze or cough, infected droplets, or it is known as aerosols, are mixed in the air, and by inhaling that germ filled droplets, the person nearby also can get the disease. So by that method, cold also can be transmitted. Next is direct contact with infected nasal secretions, because in the nasal passage and mouth the germs are there. Hand to hand and hand to surface to hand contact. Transmission is common in daycare of babies mainly and at school due to proximity of many children. So where there are so many children, transmission rate is high. These infections are then brought home to other members of the family. Next viral disease is chickenpox. The causative agent of chickenpox is varicella zoster. What are the chickenpox symptoms? First and foremost symptoms are rashes that are formed mostly all over the body. Then fever, headache, and cough. Skin rashes first appear on the back, and after that it extends to all other parts of the body. And these rashes heal without leaving any scar mark on the skin. So now how it transmits? It is transmitted mainly from person to person by sneezing, coughing, contaminated clothing, and direct contact with open blisters. Actually, chicken pox is very contagious disease, and same way like the cold, it can be transmitted from person to person by sneezing, coughing, and also by touching the contaminated clothing or the infected person's clothing. And if the blisters that are mainly formed due to the disease, the extensions of the rashes, that is the blisters, filled with the germ-filled fluids. If the blisters are opened, so the germ-filled fluid can cause the disease to the healthy person if anybody touches the blisters. Next is smallpox. The causative agent of smallpox is variola virus. What are the symptoms? Severe headache, skin rash, vomiting, muscle ache or muscle pain, diarrhea, high fever, joint pain, multiple organ inflammations. Here actually, same way, rashes appear on the body which gradually changes into the pimples containing clear fluids, and this fluid contains the germs. One difference is there in between the chickenpox and the smallpox, that the skin rashes of the chickenpox heal without leaving any scar marks, but for the smallpox the skin rashes heal by leaving the scar marks which disfigured the skin. Now, modes of transmission, it is also very contagious, and same way as chickenpox, it spreads through tiny droplets of an infected person's saliva when the person coughs, talks or sneezes. And same way it can be transmitted by touching the infected person's clothing and the open blisters. Next is polio. The causative agent of polio is polio virus. What are the signs and symptoms of polio? Headache, malaise. Malaise means feeling of unhappy or illness. Neck and back stiffness, gastrointestinal disturbances, and lastly paralysis. Mode of transmission. Two modes of transmissions are there. One is fecal oral route, another one is droplet infection. Droplet infection, already I have told that close contact person with the infected droplet spread when the infected person sneezes, coughs, talks. And fecal oral route also I have discussed during the bacterial diseases. That means when there is the poor sanitation practices during the defecation, if the person doesn't wash the hands properly, the feces or stools can be there in the fingers. So when the person touches the food by that contaminated fingers, the germs can enter into the foods and it spreads in the body via digestive tract, where it multiplies and reaches to the nervous system through the blood stream, and there it causes paralysis in the full body. Nowadays, you know that one vaccine is there that is known as OPV or oral polio vaccine, that is giving to all children to protect from polio disease. Now next disease is rabies. The causative agent of rabies is rabies virus. Now, what are the symptoms of rabies in humans? Why it is told in humans? Because rabies can be there in different kinds of animals like dogs, cats, rabbits, monkeys. We mainly discuss here the rabies in humans. Now, what are the symptoms? Fever, headache, sore throat, feeling tired. These are the general symptoms. Main particular symptoms are pain and tingling at the place they were bitten. A fear of water because of sudden strong tightening of the muscle in the throat, that is known as hydrophobia, fear of water. Being paralyzed and unable to move parts of the body. And lastly, nervousness, confusion. If it is untreated, it can lead to coma and death. Now, what are the mode of transmission? The virus is mainly injected into the human blood by the bite of rabid animals or infected animals like dogs, monkeys, cats or rabbits. Here you can see the portion where the rabbit animal bites. In that portion, virus enters from the saliva of biting animal. Then the virus replicates or multiplies in muscle near the bite and enters the neuron of nervous system. Then the virus moves up to the central nervous system, that is spinal cord and the brain, where it causes encephalitis. Encephalitis is the inflammation of the brain due to the infection. After that, virus can spread to different organs and can cause paralysis, and if it is untreated, it can cause death also. So, what are the protection? First of all, you have to wash immediately the bite area for 15 minutes with soap and water and any other disinfectants. Then you have to go for vaccination. Vaccination is started just after the infection, and if there is vaccination, there is a good chance of preventing the disease. Next viral disease is influenza. It is commonly called flu. So the causative agent of flu is influenza virus. The symptoms all are very common to you: sore throat, runny nose, muscle aches or muscle pain, dry cough, headache, fatigue, and very importantly, high fever. Sometimes we are getting little bit confused by the symptoms of cold and flu because so many symptoms are close to each other. Here you can see symptomatic differences in between the cold and flu. First of all, symptom onset. For cold it is gradual, for flu it is abrupt. For fever, for cold it is rare, for flu it is usually high fever is there. Itches or muscle pain slight for cold and usual for flu. Chills, uncommon for cold, fairly common for flu. Fatigue, weakness, tiredness, sometimes for cold and usual for flu. Sneezing, common for cold, sometimes for flu. Stuffy nose, runny nose, these all are common for cold and sometimes for flu. Sore throat, common for cold, sometimes for flu. Chest discomfort, cough, Headache, these all are mild to moderate, and for flu, they're common. Now, how it spreads? Same like the cold, it spreads via droplet transmission. Flu viruses are spread mainly from person to person through coughing, sneezing of people with influenza virus. Sometimes people may become infected by touching something with live flu virus on it and then touching their mouth or nose. Means if any surface or any other place contains the live flu virus, and if you touch it and then after you touch your mouth or nose, you can get the flu virus. Next viral disease is AIDS. Very importantly, the full form of AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. And the causative agent of AIDS is human immunodeficiency virus or HIV. The full forms are very important, both AIDS and HIV. Now, what are the symptoms? Actually, HIV affects infected persons' whole immune system. And you know, immune systems are mainly the fighters of our body, which protect us from various diseases by continuous fighting with the germs or pathogens. So if our immune system will not work properly, we can get any of the disease at any time, like that which happens in the case of AIDS. When HIV emerges from latency, that is the period when someone having HIV but doesn't show any signs or symptoms. Dry and flaky skin, chronic fatigue, fever that comes and goes, diarrhea that lasts more than a week, heavy night sweats, rapid weight loss, swollen lymph nodes, white spots on tongue, mouth and throat. These are the common signs and symptoms of the AIDS patient. Now, what are the modes of transmission? Parenteral, that means in 15% cases, it is by blood transfusion or blood product transmission. That means it can be transmitted by the blood transfusion from donor to recipient and also from mother to child during the delivery time. Sharing of unsterilized needles or syringes in drug addicts contaminated with blood from an infected person can spread virus. HIV can be transmitted through sexual contact. HIV can also spread through organ transplantation also. That's why donors are now tested for HIV to minimize this risk. Now, next disease is hepatitis. The causative agent of hepatitis is hepatitis virus. Symptoms are mainly yellowing skin and eyes. Actually, hepatitis mainly affects the liver. So the effects mainly include yellowing skin and eyes, dark urine, light colored stools, nausea and vomiting, loss of appetite and extreme fatigue or tiredness. Now, hepatitis virus transmission. Primarily, it is transmitted by fecal-oral route. Already I have discussed food or water contaminated with human feces or stools, close personal contact, blood exposure, that is injection drug use, and blood transfusion. So by that, the hepatitis virus can be transmitted from person to person. So by that, we are ending the viral diseases. In our next biology session, we will discuss protozoal diseases. Till then, bye and have a nice day.